Hey everybody, Matt Weldon, Rhode Island DLT Director. Again, back with hashtag AskDLT, one of the favorite things I do every week. And I hope I get to do it every week if you keep asking me questions. If you were to ask anybody that works around here, they'll tell you that Matt likes to yammer on and on and on about every random thing and tell stories about coaching Little League and working with kids on other things and doing all sorts of fun stuff. But sometimes we have work to do too, right? And so this is a good opportunity for me to have fun talking about things, but also answer your questions. I want to thank you for sending those questions in. I hope to start seeing some diverse questions come in about other things we do at DLT besides unemployment. But in the meantime, I'll keep answering the ones that you ask. In case you didn't know, we're now on Instagram too. And if you want to check us out on Instagram, it's at @RI_DLT, just like I believe the Twitter handle. Listen, DLT is kind of a huge presence on social media. Let's get with it. Follow us, ask us questions. We're here to help. We're going to get right into it. Here we go. Okay, if my child has to stay out of school because they have COVID or need to quarantine, would I be eligible for unemployment? No. And the reason is because unemployment requires people to be out of work for no fault of their own mostly, but also to be able to work and available to work full time. And if you're not able to work or available for work because you need to be home with a child that's been sent home because of COVID, either on a quarantine or because they have it, then you're not eligible for unemployment. You may be eligible for temporary disability insurance. Rhode Island was the first state in the country to have a TDI program. Dates back to the 1940s. And what that is, you'll notice if you look at your paycheck, there's a withholding every week for TDI. And what that is a program that's an insurance program, really, to pay you when you're out of work due to an illness or injury that's not work related. So right now with the COVID situation, we've determined that anything related to COVID, like a quarantine, a kid had to have a test, you have to have a test. Those are all things that you would be able to use a TDI program for if you qualify. You have to pay in to qualify. Most people in Rhode Island, if anybody who works for a private sector employer, is going to be paying in. And you, again, can see that in your paycheck. So go ahead and apply for TDI if you want. You can find information about that on our website at dlt.ri.gov. Okay. Why is UI being denied for termination due to vaccination mandates when they're not a condition of employment when hired? It's a good question. And that was something that was discussed with labor departments and the U.S. Department of Labor when this all came up. The law in Rhode Island requires workers to follow employers' policies when those policies are reasonable in nature and have been clearly communicated. Policies change. Things can change. And COVID's a good example of that. A lot of times when people were hired, COVID wasn't a thing. We never even thought this was going to happen. I've talked quite a bit about how we sat in here at DLT and thought, how long can this go on? And then, wow, were we surprised? So things changed. Employers need to be able to issue new policies that are reasonable to be able to keep up with what's happening around them in the world. Right now, a vaccination requirement has determined to be reasonable by this department. And yes, I made that decision. And so if an employer requires someone to get vaccinated, they've given them ample notice. What does that mean? It takes time to get vaccinated. Get 2 doses. It takes some time, a few weeks. If you have that much time, you've been given notice, it's been clearly communicated and fairly treated to everyone that works with you, treated the same way, then yes, you'd have to get vaccinated. And if you don't, then you most likely would not be eligible to collect unemployment. If you had a documented medical or religious reason that you couldn't get vaccinated, then we would take a look at that when we adjudicate that case. Meaning when we review the case, we would talk to you about that and talk to the employer about that and then make a decision. Otherwise, you would be denied. Okay. How can I get something mailed or emailed to me stating that I no longer get unemployment? This is a hot topic right now. And so what are we doing about it? We work with housing authorities, with different housing agencies to provide this information for people that have applied for housing. We're taking that and we're expanding those services to make sure that we can help everybody who needs this assistance. In the future, we'll have a system that does that. Right now, we're trying to develop a new way. I would say keep an eye on dlt.ri.gov. We update that site just about every day. As soon as we have a new method, that'll be simple, hopefully. You can fill out a form, we'll get back to you and send you that information. That'll be available online. Until then, you got to call 401-415-6772. Call early, call late, call on Saturday. I've told everybody to call on Saturday a million times. I can't remember a Saturday that the phones have been really busy. So you need the service, give us a call and keep an eye on the website for future changes. All right, we're cranking right through here. When I certified 3 weeks ago, it asked me if I would like DLT to automatically reapply me for a new claim when the extension ends. And I said, yes. When do I hear back on that claim? Will I hear back via email or mail? That's a good question. Most likely it asked because you were up against the end of your benefit year, or you were on one extension, the federal extension, and the programming had it set up to go to the next one. You know, just because it filed you for a new claim doesn't mean you're going to be eligible for a new claim. I would expect you to hear back soon, but you should know this. If you were collecting unemployment and you collected for more than 6 months and you have not returned to work, then you are not going to be eligible for a new claim. What can we do about that? We can help you. We can help you with a job search, connect with a career coach, get you connected with other job training resources. Go to backtoworkri.com. You know, I talked about that quite a bit, because unemployment is not something that we can just say people are eligible for and here's some money. You have to meet the criteria that's established in the law. If you do, then we can help you out. But even if you do qualify, it's going to be a pretty minor amount of money. The minimum payment is only somewhere around $50 or $55 a week. If you get something like that or a little bit more, and then there will be no extra money. The federal government had an extra $300 that was given to everyone until week ending September 4th. Now there's no extra. And so I really encourage you to go to backtoworkri.com and let us help you with that job search. If you need assistance with like SNAP benefits, with Rhode Island Works cash assistance, or anything like that, you can go to the DHS website at www.dhs.ri.gov. If you need other assistance like rent relief RI, check it out. Okay. I live in another state, but my spouse is moving to Rhode Island for a new job. If I can't find a job in Rhode Island after we move here, can I apply for unemployment? You can apply for unemployment anytime. And there are jobs available in Rhode Island. So when you do move here, go to backtoworkri.com and let us get you some assistance on getting a new job. If for some reason you can't get one, you would apply for unemployment in the state that you separated from employment in. What does that mean? It means if you lived in New York and you're moving to Rhode Island, but you last worked in New York, you would apply in New York. Okay. Another one, do you get tuition assistance if you're on unemployment? You may. And so you may get tuition assistance at a public institution of higher ed. That would be in Rhode Island, URI, CCRI, and RIC. That information should be available on our website at dlt.ri.gov, or call into the call center at 401-415-6772. If you're on unemployment, you have to have an active claim, then we can talk to you about how we can help with tuition assistance. How can I get a copy for my husband of his 1099-G form? We went online, but the wrong dates are listed to choose from. Again, that's a service that you have to get from the call center. So give us a call at 401-415-6772. They can provide that information very quickly to you. We can get that to you probably in the mail, maybe through email, depending on if that's an available resource or not. But give us a call. We can help you out. Call on Saturday. What am I supposed to do if my employer hasn't reopened? Okay, this is coming up a bit. And, you know, had the pandemic gone on for a short time, it would have been a brief disruption in the economy and people would return to work where they worked before. Pandemic going on for a long time, the economy has been fully reopened for quite a while, and some employers just haven't come back. And I don't know if that means they're not going to come back or they're in an industry that's having a hard time coming back, but it's time to think about another opportunity. You need to go look for work somewhere else. And we talk about what's suitable work, but and we've said before, if you worked and made $30 an hour and then you're on unemployment and you look for a job and it pays $12 an hour, that may not be suitable right away. But we're 17 months in. And so now if you were in a field before, it's time to maybe, if you can't return to that field, think about a different one. Go to backtoworkri.com. Let us help you. You can work with a career coach and have a discussion just like this, where you can talk to somebody about what opportunities there may be for you and how we can get you connected to your next real career. You can always go back and do what you're doing before if they do reopen, but in the meantime, we need to get you connected to the economy. Let's see if we have any more. Last one. What technology upgrades is DLT making to make the UI customer experience better? Okay, a few things. I've been asked a number of times about how I feel that our customers thought their customer service was. And I've said every time, they probably thought it was pretty crummy. That's not because the people here don't work really hard. They do. And they want to help everyone, but there are so many people to help. And so even though they're doing the best they can, they're working 7 days a week, it's just never going to be enough with the massive amount of claims that we've had to deal with. So how do we make things better? We give the system better tools to use. We give the people better tools and better resources. We listen to the staff's ideas about ways to improve from within. We put in new technology to make your user experience better. We test it 1 million times. We are currently doing that right now. We're working on a new platform, which will allow people to apply for unemployment online, track every step of the way where their claim is. So there is no uncertainty and no need to call, because they can see very clearly that it's going to take X amount more time until their claim is finally processed. They can update their information. They can set up their banking information. Lots of things they can do, all in a new customer portal. When is that going to happen? Not quite sure yet. We're working on it every day. We've been working on it for some time. We're thinking maybe near the end of the year or early next year, we'll have a product available online. That's a good thing. We're heading in the right direction. There are far fewer claimants now than there were 2 weeks ago. That means that our resources are going to be freed up a bit anyway. As soon as we can get through this confusing period, the transition, when the federal programs ended and the new programs are beginning or returning really to regular unemployment, it's going to get easier. And we appreciate everyone's patience because we know it's been difficult. We want to make it better. As soon as we know the program is ready to go, we're going to introduce it. And that's going to give you much more clarity and insight into what's happening with your claim and give you the ability to control things like yourself, print things off of the internet, not have to call in. So I'm very much looking forward to it. My team at DLT is looking forward to it. We hope it happens near the end of the year or early next year. Stay tuned. I think that's all the questions I had for the week. I want to thank everyone for continuing to engage in this service that we're doing. I have fun with it. I want to answer your questions. I want to provide information to you. I want you to call on Saturday. I'm going to keep saying that every week. One of these Saturdays, we're going to be overwhelmed and my staff is going to be so frustrated with me, but that's okay. We're here to help. We want to help you. Please let us do that. Until next time, I'm Matt Weldon. Have a week.